In this episode, I wanted to take this opportunity to talk to a really good friend of mine who's tuning in all the way from Egypt. As I said, I have been pretty blessed with friends from all across the globe. Now, this friend of mine, her name is Iman. We met because we worked in International Air Transport Association, IATA. A big part of my life was working for IATA, which was 13 years of my life. Really good that I made friends with her. She now works as an external affairs and sustainability manager in the Middle East and North Africa. She is Egyptian, but she was born and raised in Kuwait. And also part of her life has been living in the United States between 10 and 14 years of age. So she lives in Egypt and she's tuning in all the way from Egypt to talk to us today, which is very exciting. The other very exciting thing about Iman is that she's written a poem that actually touched my heart. I wanted to share this amazing poem with all of you through her. Separately, I wanted to, as I mentioned, I wanted to understand her thoughts about writing this poem and share with you a little bit of Egyptian culture so we all get to learn about this. So I'm very, very excited. I hope you guys are too. Please welcome Iman. Iman, are you there? Hi, Iman.
Hi, Shika. Good to see you again.
Welcome to Dose of Inspirational Light.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you that you still remember me. It's been what, like 5 years?
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since I left Middle East and
Yeah,
since we worked together. But
we missed you.
thank you very much. I missed everybody too, so I'm glad that you're here talking to me, and I'm bringing a lot more people from that region as well. But you're my very first guest from the region, so I'm really
Thank
thankful,
you.
happy.
It's an honor. Thank you.
Thanks, Iman. Okay, so Iman, you can see I'm at the beach because, I thought Australia, beaches. Iman, I gave some introduction on who you are, but of course it's better to hear it directly from you. Tell us a little bit about you so we can all get to know a little bit about Iman.
Thank you. Thank you, Shika. Well, my name is Iman Al-Asadi. I'm an Egyptian. I was born in, as you said, I was born in Kuwait and raised and went to school along with a few years in the United States. I came back to Egypt for college or university. I have a bachelor's degree in business administration and an MBA, and both are from the American University in Cairo. Ever since I've graduated from university, I've been working in the aviation business. First, I was in KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines,
Oh,
and now it's been 18 years. I've been in IATA, which is the International Air Transport Association. In terms of, I'm sane and single. I live with my mom and my 6 cats.
oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah, they're strays. They're strays. I rescued them. I rescued them. They were ones that I rescued from the street. So and they became my babies. So
Mhm.
and I have one brother and one sister. I'm the last of 3 siblings. My sister, who's a doctor, and my brother who lives in the States, who has been living in the States for the past 40 something years. And then there's me.
That's awesome introduction. Thank you so much, Iman.
Yes.
If I would have stayed with IATA and not come back to Australia, it would have been my 18th year as well this year.
Oh,
IATA, we're like twins, but kind of I left at 13th year. I think it was the best company and best people that I worked with. And,
and
I would
Shika,
say,
honestly, not because you're here and not because of this podcast, you were one of the really amazing people to work with. Honestly, the passion you have, honestly, it's second to none. When you commit to something and you put your heart and soul there, and you just do it. That's really amazing and admirable to say the least.
yeah, right back at you, Iman. You're just as admirable and you're just as hardworking. And, I think
Thank
we've
you,
got an
dear.
awesome team in the Middle East region. I think it
Thank
was,
you, dear. Thank you, dear. A few years that were really great. Great.
yes. Yes. So when I was in IATA, of course, I had the privilege of meeting you, as everybody's just heard. And one of the projects that was really close to my heart was something we called Mosaic, which is the diversity and inclusion project. I was just very lucky to be asked to become the head of that Mosaic program for Middle East and Africa. And you were part of that team. I think we worked really well together. We had so much fun. We discussed so much about the culture, and I'm so happy to do this cultural broadcast. One of the topics that we always talked about was breaking the unconscious bias and to become more equitable and to become more inclusive, not just as a company, but in general as well. International Women's Day came along, and out of the blue, there was this wonderful poem that came from Iman, which really touched my heart. One of the most spectacular things I've ever seen. Even now, after 5 years of leaving IATA, this year I had the privilege to become an MC for one of the International Women's Day event, and I was a panelist on the other event. Just very, very lucky and blessed to be asked for those opportunities. And I couldn't forget your poem. So I was like, contacted you and I said, Iman, that poem that we did together, is there a way that you can adapt this to this year's theme? So within 1 second, the answer came back, yes, of course. There was no hesitation, but it was just like an immediate yes, which I absolutely adore about you, really, our friendship and just who you are, but you're just
who you are.
who we both are. We're both willing to just say yes to every opportunity. And you're so good with words. And just there were 2 themes actually this year. It was cracking the code. It was gender equality, of course. It was innovation. It was embracing technology. And it took you like just a day or so to just adapt that poem, showing everybody the multitude of talent that you are. So thank you very much, Iman, for doing that.
Thank you. Thank you. It's all because of you, honestly. And to begin with, this whole poem, it all started because of you. You heard I was emceeing one of our regional meetings a year before. That was in 2016, and where I wrote this poem that we later did into a rap. And then when you started to lead Mosaic, you asked me if I can do a poem on Mosaic, and it actually pushed me to do so. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do that? And then this how it came to be. So all of this is because of you to begin with.
It's all you, but thank you. Thank you that we make a good team.
Yeah. And as I told you before, it's your passion towards something. When you want something, you go out there and get it. It's honestly, your passion is amazing.
Oh, thanks, Iman. Right back. You're just as admirable and just as passionate. So thank you very much.
Thank you, dear. Thanks,
All
dear.
right, so let's hear this poem, Iman. Let's not let the people wait any longer.
Okay.
We are in a world full of discrimination, dividing us and causing us a lot of confusion. Is it asking too much when all we want is inclusion? Why is it difficult finding acceptance? Why is it an issue when it comes to tolerance? Are we only accepted by those who are similar to us? So when anybody is different, we should be very cautious? We all have our biases. While some may be useful, most are not. So let's be aware of this so we don't tie our dealings into a knot. They say that some stereotypes are true, many are not, and all are incomplete. Acknowledging this and being aware of it can help change this in a heartbeat. Everybody deserves to be treated with dignity. That should be the basis of our existence and humanity. Human society is all about diversity. If we don't embrace it, we're in for a calamity. How tasteless would a salad be with only one vegetable? Instead of having a mix of them, making it more pleasurable. Having it only with one color of green, or rather a rainbow of colors, making it a delightful scene. Imagine diversity being the salad, while inclusion is making the veggies, dressing, and mixture tasty and valid. To have a diverse and inclusive culture, we need to embrace equity into our structure. to make everybody feel they belong, so we can all hand in hand stand strong. We need to make sure that everybody's fairly included and not in an environment fumed and feuded. If we embrace equity and limit women's underrepresentation, we can definitely provide a great advantage to our organization. While diversity is a reality, embracing equity and inclusion is a choice. So why don't we make all these a reality and celebrate and rejoice? And with innovation and technology on our side, this will hopefully make our mission an easy ride. An inclusive environment offering opportunity for all, that is why embracing equity can make us all be proud and stand tall.
That was such an amazing poem, Iman. What inspired you to write it?
Well, because of you again, and
Oh,
being
well,
part of Mosaic. You asked me to write a poem. It took me, I can't recall honestly how long it took me, but I remember that I was at one of the beaches, just sitting in front of the beach and just trying to figure it out. And I was thinking, oh my God, how am I going to do this? But the good thing is that it turned out to be pretty good, I think, thanks to you again.
thanks to you and your positive ions from the water. Those words, Iman, they're very deep and they usually come from somewhere deep within the heart, actually. So have you actually seen much discrimination around you? Is there an example that you'd like to talk about? You know, because this poem goes into many layers. If we hear the words carefully, these are not just words that you wrote pen to paper. These words actually mean something. So what did they mean to you?
Well, yes, I did experience a lot of forms of discrimination. Um, um, Mainly being a woman in a man's world. That's one thing. And the other thing is because of the veil. As you can see, I'm wearing a veil for religious reasons. And I even experienced discrimination in my comfort zone, in my own area where you have majority of people you can find that are veiled. So let alone in other places in other countries in the world. So yes, I did, and maybe I can recall something when I was fresh out of college. I was going into an interview in a bank and in a credit department of a bank. And basically the guy that was interviewing me, he's like, okay, what if I have a client coming to tell you, coming to shake your hand? He sticks out his hand and he wants to shake your hand. What will you do? I'm like, duh, I'll shake his hand. What's the problem? He's like, he automatically judged me based on my appearance, that because I'm wearing a veil, I might be too conservative to shake his hand, which is absurd. That's the part of it. And then after we talked a bit, he's like, okay, well, I tell you what, for this position, I would have preferred a male candidate, but even if I wanted a female candidate, I would have preferred her not failed. Simple as that. He just laid it out to me just like that. And mind you, this is a person, the same background, the same religious background, everything. So that to me, that was really that was something that stuck in my head for some times. Like, if I'm being discriminated against in my own country, in uh, it's okay for others in other countries, and mind you, I've seen it firsthand in other places as well. Crew in a certain flight, for example, they would act weird towards me because, or maybe I also take the veil as maybe because I know that the person in front of me may judge me, so I always think it's because of that. And sometimes, when I deal with foreigners that are not really familiar with it, I try to really work hard to give them an impression of, I'm a normal person, by the way. This does not stop me from doing the normal things that you guys do, you know? So yes, I've faced a lot of discrimination in many ways. Yeah.
Yeah, no, sorry to hear that. Yeah, especially in your own country. I mean, it's not something you expect, but people are, I think, I hope, are becoming more and more tolerant, and more accepting. For me personally, I don't even see the veil. When little children play with each other, they don't see the color of people's skin or anything like that. They just see another child, and I think that's how adults are meant to be. Really sorry to hear that, Iman. So the discrimination that you've experienced, is it mainly in the workplace, or is it also in the day-to-day society? When you're shopping or when you are just traveling, do you experience discrimination there as well, or?
Yes, not really in the workplace, maybe because I'm working in an organization that really, diversity and inclusion is really a part of it, the mosaic, for example. So it's not really main at work, but mainly, yes, in society, all sorts. We have, like, other than the veil, there's also the male-female kind of thing, here maybe the culture really makes the man have the upper hand, let's say. So for you being a female in a man's world, you're always discriminated against, always treated differently. So you have to, act tough, and act, it's more effort to try to show them, no, okay, you're a man is better for you. Okay, I'll show you my aggressive side, let's say. Also, the different classes, because in Egypt, maybe that's something I did not mention. I can easily say, we have the richest people in the world you can find in Egypt, and the poorest people in the world you can find in Egypt. I can, give or take, but I'm just showing you that there's a spectrum of, differences. So you can imagine the classes and so forth. So yeah, and you can have discrimination when it comes to class. Yes, that's also possible as well. So yes, so but as you said, yes, people are becoming more tolerant. Let's hope so. But also we face all sorts of discrimination every single day for various reasons.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. In another podcast, we might actually delve more deeper into it, but just for this one, get the picture. And sorry that you have to go through all of this on a daily basis. Sometimes, living in Egypt, but
it's getting different. It's changing. Hopefully, it's changing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of effort on our part, on my part as a female in a male's world, but we're getting there.
Yeah. Where are you currently living in Egypt? Where are you tuning in from?
In the capital, which is Cairo.
Okay. And what's Cairo like?
Well, you've never been here? I didn't know that. You've never came to Cairo before?
No, we had, I think the events that we had, I think you represented those events.
No.
I would have loved to have
Yeah.
gone. What is Cairo like? Tell us a little bit about Cairo.
It's a very busy city. It's really overpopulated. We have 20 million plus. It's one of the biggest cities in the world, yeah, but it's very crowded, very busy, but very exciting.
Yes.
It's just a city that never sleeps.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the norm here around Egypt. So it's like 2, 3 a.m. You still have busy people all over the place. So you'd really like it. You should come visit sometime.
Definitely. Thank you. So Egypt, when I think about Egypt, when I read about Egypt, it's famous for, of course, ancient architecture, pyramids, sphinx, mummies, a bit spooky, but mummies, the Red Sea, the River Nile, so many different sites, etc. So, which part is the closest out of this to you? Which architecture?
Well, because it's very special, of course, and it's one of the wonders, ancient wonders of the world, which is of course the pyramids. You know, it's so mystifying, incredible, and the secrets behind it is just so amazing. Um, the pyramids were built as monuments to house the tombs for the pharaohs, and it's just incredible. It's an accomplishment that's really incredible, and you can say that they stood the test of time. It's been over 5,000 years, so the mystery around them just makes them so, the pyramids so special. So yeah, I would say it's the pyramids are the closest to my heart.
Mm. Is there any mystery that you can share with us? Like, what's the biggest mystery that people talk about? Like,
Not re Well, that's the whole thing. There are mysteries that we know nothing about. It's just going in and exploring and actually going through the tombs. It's just amazing, and there's always this talk about the curse of the pharaohs. And whenever something happens to anybody around there, they say, oh, it's the curse. It's just,
oh, sounds a
but
bit.
it's lovely. It's lovely. I mean, if you're into these things, it's lovely, especially that in Egypt, uh, we have a third of the world's antiquities and artifacts. You can find them in Egypt. So that in itself is like, wow. So there's a lot to explore if you ever decide to come, and I'm sure you will someday.
I'm sure I will. Famous last words, right? We'll be doing this podcast together next time
Yeah.
from the pyramids.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, in general, Egypt is known for its architectural and cultural treasures. It's usually the dream of any traveler, let's say. The pyramids, the deserts, the oasis, the longest river in the world, the Nile, the dazzling capital of Egypt, which is Cairo. The amount of temples and tombs that you can find at the south of Egypt in Luxor and Aswan is amazing. The Sphinx, yeah, countless things that you can experience in Egypt. So, and not only this, but from the other side, if you're not really into antiquities and artifacts and ancient things, there are the beaches. Of course, I know Australia with its beaches, but Egypt is home to some of the most amazing beaches, from
Wow.
the north coast in the Mediterranean to South Sinai, Hurghada, Sharm, Marsa Alam, Dahab. They're a must visit. So it's basically, that's what's so great and so nice about Egypt. It has something for everyone. Whatever it is you're looking for, you definitely find it here. It's really, really amazing. Let's say, okay, I may be a bit biased, but believe me, I'm stating facts.
That's so good. Iman, I think you've sold Egypt to all of us now, I think. I had no idea that it had beaches as well. I had no
Yes,
idea. Like,
yes.
it's not
Oh,
something we
yeah,
hear
yeah.
about. We hear about River Nile, but
Yeah, the River Nile, yes, that's in Cairo and goes down all the way to the south. However, on the Red Sea, you've got gorgeous beaches where we have the Hurghada, Sharm, Dahab, Marsa Alam, gorgeous, gorgeous beaches. So, yeah, pretty amazing. But I know Australia, has one of the greatest beaches in the world, as I hear. But believe me, you'd be amazed, and you'd really like the beaches around here too.
lovely. Can't wait to visit. So of course, tourism, I mean, that's all done. What are we going to eat when we get to Egypt? What's your favorite Egyptian food?
Well, I can't say I have a favorite, but it's Egypt. In Egypt, we have a lot of fatty foods. Actually, in the Arab culture in general, yeah, it's all about fats. But there are certain things typical Egyptian. We have things like koshari. Koshari, that's basically a carbohydrate bomb. It's like rice, lentils, macaroni, and all put together. And sometimes people
Ah,
even put them in bread. Now that's nuts.
oh, wow.
These are This is a certain special thing that you find only in Egypt. There are طعمية, which is falafel. I think you heard about that because there are many different versions of it around the Middle East area.
So, for those that have not heard of falafel, Iman, what is falafel and what is it made out of?
Well, in Egypt, it's made out of beans, crushed beans. But in other areas, like in Jordan, and I think maybe you tried it when you've been in
Yes,
Jordan,
definitely.
it's made out of chickpeas, fried. It's something that is fried, and it's really good. It's usually eaten for breakfast.
Oh, you guys have that was my next question. What do you eat for breakfast? So falafel is what you start your day with?
Beans and falafel. Some people eat beans and falafel mostly.
Okay.
Sometimes eggs, whatever. But these are the let's say traditional breakfast in Egypt. Falafel and we call them ta'miya, not falafel. Ta'miya
Okay.
and
Right.
ful, which is beans.
Oh, so you have beans with it. What kind of beans are they? Red kidney beans?
No, fava beans that are let's say smashed into bread that makes the sandwich with also salad
Okay.
and tahina, if you know what tahina is.
Yeah.
And that's beans or ful. We call it ful and ta'miya. Ta'miya is the falafel that you know.
Yes.
That's the traditional breakfast in Egypt.
A very scrumptious breakfast, Iman. What about lunch and dinner?
Well, we usually have late lunches. Lunch at 12, this is not typical Egyptian at all. 12 or 1, as it is in Europe and everywhere, probably. It's too early for us because some
Really?
people, because as I told you, people stay up a lot at night. So they usually have breakfast 9, 10, 11, So 12 would be too
Lunch.
early for our lunch. So our lunch starts something like 4 or 5
Oh,
late
wow.
lunches. Yeah.
That's dinner.
Yeah. And dinners are, yeah, I know exactly. Exactly. Everywhere else it's dinner, but our dinner is late whenever. We have, I don't know if you ever heard of molokhia. And they call it the green soup. It's some kind of green leaves that are made into, it looks like a soup, a bit heavy, and you eat it with rice or with bread.
Hmm.
That's molokhia is typical Egyptian. Other than that, let's see, do we have anything special for dinner or lunch? No, I can assure you it's fatty. It's full of fat,
You
fried,
are
everything,
very, very
the
fit.
works.
So for those who haven't met Iman, when you see her, she is super fit, and she'll probably tell you the reason for her fitness is sports. But in a few minutes we'll talk about that. But she's very, very cautious in what she eats, regardless of what she's telling you guys. What about dessert, Iman?
Desserts part is amazing, but it's again, I'm serious. This is real. We've got something called, for example, milk pudding. It's actually called milk and rice. It's
Ah,
basically, I don't, it's ruz b'laban. That's in Arabic. It's basically milk with rice and starch, and it's like you know how the texture of cream caramel,
mm,
um, but it's really tasty. That's
yeah.
something common in Egypt. Rose b'laban. Desserts here are amazing.
Sugar balls, I
Yes,
forgot the name, but those things,
yeah.
especially when during Eid they make it honey dipped balls, or maybe it's a Dubai thing, I don't know. But it's made out of
Yes, yes, لقمة القاضي or zalabia. We call it here in Egypt. Yeah, it's fried and then you put on it
yes,
the yep. That's
honey,
that's yes,
drizzling in
yes, yes.
honey and
Exactly. Our kunafa here drizzles in honey. The difference between our kunafa here and the kunafa there, maybe kunafa in Jordan and other parts, it's orange. It's called nabulseya. In here, it's with cheese. In here, it's with more cream-like, sometimes with custard. Um, oh God, now I'm hungry. So we have that we have kunefa, we have zalabia, we have milk and rice pudding. Uh,
sounds really, really good. I think we need to go to Egypt just for desserts, more than
Definitely,
more than the
definitely, yes,
architecture is
definitely.
desserts. Yes. I've just started doing this podcast. It's not something that comes very naturally. It's out of my comfort zone. Editing is a whole new matter, but it's good because it's learning curve and I'm learning every day. So when I used to see people being interviewed, one of the very fun segment that I loved was this rapid fire round where the host asks the guest a few quick questions, and it's just a way to get to know that person. But let's start with the rapid fire round. Tea or coffee?
Neither.
No, neither.
No, I don't drink hot drinks.
Juice or milk?
Milk.
Milk?
Mhm.
Beach or mountains?
A little bit of both.
Oh, nice. Which one would you prefer if you had to take an escape?
Mountains.
Mountains, nice. Books or movies?
Movies.
Any favorite movie?
There's so many, but one that comes to mind, it's a very old movie. Reminds me of my childhood. It was maybe Sarah Jessica Parker. Parker's one of her first movie or something. It's called Girls Just Want to Have Fun. It's about dancing, and since I love dancing, it reminds me of my childhood. This really sticks in my head, but I can't say it's my favorite movie of all time, but I really like it.
Yeah, nice. Any favorite book?
Let's see. Nothing that comes to mind. But there is this one that I didn't finish reading, but it does have potential. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari.
By Robert Sharma. You know what happened? I read this book, and I don't know if you've seen this post because I know everybody's busy, but there is a post on this book, and every quote that I loved from this book, and I put that into like a reel on Instagram. From the monk who sold his Ferrari. Yeah, I put this, I will try and find it and I'll share that with you specifically. And
Nice coincidence.
and you know what happened? I tagged Robin Sharma and he actually loved my tagging.
Nice.
So yeah, he actually replied. What a humble man. So definitely continue reading. It definitely has potential, and I love the ending. So you must continue reading that book. It's a good book. Robin Sharma, if you're listening, here's a plug for you. Okay. Any favorite quote of yours? Not specifically that I've shared, but any favorite quote that resonates with you?
There's so many, but just I don't know why this pops into mind is that nothing is what it seems. I know there are a number of quotes like that, but I really truly believe in that. Nothing is really truly what it seems. That's maybe the one that comes to mind now. I know there are tons of them, but that's the one that resonates with me most of the time.
Okay. Yeah. I think dogs or cats, I think we've figured that out. Definitely a cat person.
True.
Cats.
But I love animals in general.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And I used to have a dog.
Caring nature. Yes. Favorite season? Do you have 4 seasons in Egypt?
Yes, but they're mainly winter and summer. Spring a little bit and autumn a little bit, but it's mainly as summer and winter. Sorry. I'm more of a summer person. Not so sure if the weather these days will. I'll keep on thinking this way because it's been very hot lately. But it's not the weather as much as it is the ambiance or the atmosphere in general, about summer and vacations and beaches and, not really the weather, but I'm more of a summer person because to me, winter is kind of gloomy. Although I was born in winter, but I'm a summer person more.
Okay. Favorite color?
Black.
Black, really?
I love black.
In like everything? Like, do you have a black car?
I used to have a black car. Now it's gray, dark gray. But in terms of clothes, it's nothing to do with being negative or pessimistic or anything. I just love the color. Maybe because you never go wrong with it. It's a safe color. But it's my favorite. It's my favorite.
Well, the veils are pretty colorful, so I'm glad that you've actually got those.
But I'm wearing black underneath.
Yes. Favorite sports? Because I know that you're very sporty.
Yep. Soccer and basketball. Love sports.
Okay. Wow. Soccer. The FIFA World Cup is doing pretty well. Australia's doing pretty good in the FIFA World Cup if you've been following the women's FIFA.
I haven't been following the women's FIFA, but that's good to hear.
Yeah, yes, definitely. Any favorite hobby?
Dancing. I love dancing.
Perfect. And any parting thoughts? That's it from me on the rapid fire round. Any parting thoughts before we leave?
This was my first podcast ever. I hope it wasn't too heavy for you guys, but it was and just like you, Shika, maybe I'm not a very I'm camera shy and I don't do these things often, but I really enjoyed it today. It's a way of getting to know and giving out to those in other regions like Australia. Australia is one of the places I really want to go
Yes,
to
we'd love
someday.
to have you. Please
Yeah,
come and visit our
maybe this is
beaches.
gonna bring me closer. So I really enjoyed this. I thank you for that. And again, it's because of you, because of your passion. I love your passion towards anything you believe in. You're amazing, and I know you're getting somewhere. You're getting to high places. I tell you that. So.
That's really sweet. Thank you very much, Iman. These are just words, and I will echo the same sentiments back to you, but they actually mean from my heart as well. You're just as amazing and just as talented. So never ever doubt yourself. And thank you for coming to this podcast. Thank you for breaking biases. Thank you for breaking both of our comfort zones. And thank you for all the love all the way from Egypt. Follow the YouTube channel, Dose of Inspirational Light 591, I think it's called. So all your friends, because we're just getting started, and hope to have you back with us on our next podcast sometime in the future as well. Maybe from Egypt pyramids, maybe from Australian beaches. You never know, at one of those sights and sounds. We look forward to that, Iman. I hope we've just got started. Much more to go.
Thank you, dear. Thank you, dear. And it was an honor to be part of your beginnings. And thank you for remembering me.
So from the bottom of my heart, and all the very best and love to you. Thank you very much, Iman.
Thank you, dear. Thank you, dear.
That's the inspiration. Yeah.
Egyptian.